Hi, this is Tony Andrew again, and in a previous video I talked about how language should be more of an art than a science. And I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on that again and talk about denotation, connotation, nuances, and the strengths and weaknesses of words. This is just really quite important because when you take language as an art, not as a science, then you're accepting that there are new concepts to be learned in the new language that you're not going to find in your native language. And you might be disappointed to find that in many expressions you have in your native language just do not exist in the new language. But as accepting that, there's a few things that you need to know. First of all, when you're learning, for example, adjectives or any particular word, especially that has something to do with emotion, you'll see that when you translate it from your original language into the other language, you'll see that the problem might be that the strength of the word is different. Like a word might have the same denotation, that is like a dictionary meaning, synonyms you could say, but the connotation or the inner meaning of the words are quite different. So I'm going to give some examples of that. If you told someone that they are smart or intelligent, sagacious, what else? So smart, intelligent, sagacious, clever, shrewd, all these words really have to do with intelligence, and in this sense they are synonyms. However, shrewd is quite different than sagacious, because sagacious for me is more about being book smart. Shrewd is more street smart, especially when it comes to money. Clever even has the connotation of tricking someone. I remember, because I worked in the UAE, I remember as a principal of a school where a parent came to me and said, my daughter is so clever, she made 100 on the test. And he really was translating from Arabic and thinking that his daughter's smart. But he doesn't understand that clever almost has the connotation of cheating, tricking. And so he missed it there. And then the other thing is strength of words, in the sense that if you say a word, let's say like if someone calls you, well, I've been on a diet, but say someone calls you fat, or they call you chubby, or they call you obese. Well, which word, is stronger? Well, obese could be quite a weak word if it's used as an illness. Like when a doctor says you're obese, it's not meant to offend you, but to be talked about more like an illness. Chubby, you can even laugh at, because maybe that's a term of endearment. But fat can be quite pejorative, derogatory. So the strength of the word, sometimes when you're translating a word, okay, like if you say me da pena in Spanish, like it's almost can be like it embarrassed me, or I'm shy, but it's a lot weaker than it embarrassed me. Someone might say, well, how do you say I'm embarrassed? And they say, oh, me da pena. But when you say it, it's much weaker. Or if you did it the other way, you could get the wrong effect. So remember that you got to learn the language more than just learn what it means in the other language. You got to get into the connotation and into the strengths and weaknesses of the word. So I would go to say that it's not about learning what the word means in your native language, okay? Like if you're learning Spanish, it's not about what it means in English, okay? It's more about how do you use this word, and how does the word change meaning according to its usage or connotation. And I believe that if you take that step, I have to mention, how do you do that? You do it through authentic materials. When you're watching movies, when you're engaging in conversation, when you live in the language, you will have personal experiences in the language that will show you how the subtleness or the nuances of meaning of the language that you're never going to get from a book.